So it's been a little while since I posted a couple of spider tour videos, and today I thought I'd do something different, mainly just sharing a tip for how to find spiders even in winter when they're a little bit less common, and how to find spiders that you might not just see just by looking around and trying to spot them visually. So without further ado, here's my tip. So the tip's really simple. I've just got this bucket lid here, but you could use anything, a tub, a tray, even a piece of paper. And then you can either put it in a bush like so, and then shake the bush around, or if you've only got one hand, because you're filming or you're holding a camera, stick it down below. And then the idea is just to give the bush a really solid shake and see what falls out. It doesn't look like we got anything this time, but if you do it deeper into a bush or search around for different vegetation types, let me try this hedge, you can generally get some pretty interesting finds just dropping into your receiver. Yeah, a couple of little baby spiders. There's a young jumping spider. I'm going to switch over to camera footage now to show you some of the things that I found. So we'll start with this cute little salty that we saw jumping around. I'm not going to hazard an ID, but I do have a guess. So when we get to the adult, I'll show you and we can compare. Yeah, so I didn't get much video because it pretty immediately hopped off to the leaf litter and managed to scurry away, as did this little crab spider. But again, I think I've got a better photo from another bush shaking to give us more info to ID. Yeah, so this is a great technique to turn up all sorts of spiders that you wouldn't necessarily find elsewhere. This one, I've seen them hanging out in other spiders' webs. I'll put a sort of suggested ID over there somewhere. But yeah, tons of those shaken out. And that's an example of a spider that you wouldn't necessarily find if you just went around, looking for webs or looking for movement. Obviously tons of non-spiders, lovely plant hoppers everywhere. You tend to do a shake, get a bunch of things, and then just watch as the beetles fly off and the flies fly out and the leaf hoppers spring away. Leaf hoppers, plant hoppers, frog hoppers. Yeah, lots of other unusual spiders. This I think is Lymphidae. I think that's how you say it. Lymphidae. I don't know. Yeah, didn't get too many good photos. It also just ran off into the bush. Lots of really cute weevils. Could do a whole separate video with tons of weevil pictures, but I'm not going to subject to that. Yeah, this lovely Branchus species jumping spider. I've noticed this sort of pale-bodied and patterned head tends to be kind of like stereotypical of the spiders up in trees. I found a couple of these high up off the ground and making little retreats inside of some dead leaves up in trees. So that just seems to be the sort of generic pattern. But I just love how beautiful these spiders are. And this one I was able to get some better pictures. It hung around for ages, posing nicely for me. Maybe about a centimeter long, so large compared to the juvenile we saw earlier. Yeah, obviously most photos that you're going to end up with look like this, tiny little spiderlings heading away at speed into the distance. But yeah, this is another crab spider, Thomisidae family. I'd noticed that they tended to be kind of second highest in terms of species counts compared to salticids when I saw surveys, but in my sort of wandering around, I hadn't really seen many other than the occasional ground spider or flower crab. But as soon as you start shaking trees and seeing what falls out, you realize there's a whole host of different crab spider species around. They just tend to be hidden, ambushing passers-by deep within bushes, so we don't notice it. Cool, another unidentified one heading off, probably fairly young spider. And then we saw that smaller, potentially male earlier. This is a slightly better shot at it. Yeah, so also shook that one out of the hedge. And you can see this is also a crab spider, just different to the sort of normal flower crabs that everyone's familiar with. And then finally, this is, I think, the parent of that juvenile that we found. So this is a sort of better look at a slightly more mature individual. So again, I'll put my best guess that way. My best guess for a species or genus ID. I'll go through the jumpingspiders.co.za site, look for some close matches, look around in some papers. But yeah, I've got some guesses for this one. beautiful spiders. Yeah, really, really lovely, and not one I've seen when I'm just looking around on the ground. So definitely seems to be a sort of tree or bush specialist as opposed to a leaf litter roamer like my normal saltwater friends. Cool. So that's the youngster we found. That's my, I think, suspected parent, all in the same bush. So could well be different, but yeah, looks like this one's just starting to get some patterning on the head there. But yeah, could just as easily be one of the related species. That's the tricky thing with these youngsters. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that tip. Maybe go shake a bush or two for yourself, see what falls out. Obviously it's a little bit disruptive for the poor individuals that do get shaken out, but no permanent harm seems to come to them. To put them right back in the bush and they clamber away fairly happily, or they escape before I get a chance. There's no photos of lynx spiders in here, but they tend to fall out, boing, 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 and head off in their own favorite directions, so easy to find, tough to photograph. But yeah, until next time, cheers.